Okay, now let's transition into today's main topic. It'll be the bulk of the show, the main thing we discuss, and it's something we've already touched on, is MMA judging and scoring.
Ooh.
Okay, and we touched on it a little bit when we talked about Strickland and Costa.
Sure.
And the 49-46 and Dave Torelli's scorecard. So I want to kind of back up because you had mentioned something about Sal D'Amato. And you've been very public with your thoughts on how he had judged some really crappy fights and had some really questionable scorecards. But then you guys talked. Can you kind of just take us through that conversation you guys had, like when you actually met up and when you talked?
Well, here's the unfortunate part about our platform. I say unfortunate part because there is no review board. There's no complaint committee, right? There's no Better Business Bureau.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Who do we get to complain to when there's an egregious call?
Yeah.
All we have is social media.
Mm-hmm.
All we have, but what we do have is a platform.
And to try to make them accountable because nobody's there to hold them accountable. So, yeah.
We don't get to pick up the phone and just call Jeff Mullen or whoever.
Right.
And I would like to put a complaint in, or can you do this, and that?
Yeah.
Right? There's no Yelp review.
Yeah.
So that's an unfortunate side of what we have to do to make noise.
Yeah.
And scream about what's going on with the judging.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple years ago, Jeff Mullen and the Nevada State Athletic Commission did a great job. They got a Zoom call together, and they put some of the top coaches in the world on a Zoom meeting with damn near 30 judges, a bunch of refs, the who's who and what's what, right, on the Zoom call.
Yep.
To go over some of this stuff and to be able to talk. And, man, I like that we did that. It was super progressive. There were some wild cards in there, like some judges that were, all right, whatever. But at least it brought us kind of together.
Yeah. And
the thing for me as a coach, I'll kind of go through my process.
Yeah.
I get on the apron, or I get on the fight starts. And this is a lot of times when you very rarely do you get to know who judges your fight ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get to the venue, sometimes I'll look around, and on some of the placards, they'll have the assignments. Mm-hmm. So I'll know, okay, I got so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Why does that matter? Well, when you think about it anecdotally, I've seen these guys judge, or I watch so many fights that I kind of learn to understand. It's like AI. It's like I kind of learn and understand what they're looking for, or what they might favor, or how they kind of their flavor of judging is, right? Mm-hmm. Which sucks is because it's not supposed to be that way. They're supposed to judge by the letter of the law, right? The 3Ds, 4D. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I should probably know that.
What is it? Damage,
duration, and dominance.
Dominance, yeah.
3. I can't count that high. But it's supposed to have a little bit of formality on how they do it.
Yeah.
Now it's all subjective.
Yeah.
So the fight starts, or the fight, or they're announcing the fighters. The first thing I look at, all right, I got boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. I kind of know a little bit of how one judges and whatever else. And I might even call an audible in certain ways. I'll give you an example so you guys understand. Roma Delidze is fighting Trevin Giles. Mm-hmm. Adelaide Bird is one of our judges.
Yeah.
Adelaide Bird has been a judge who favors, historically, understands more about the boxing side of things.
I was going to say, she's an old school boxing judge.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this is no knock on Miss Bird.
Right.
This is just me speaking to what I gather from her style of judging.
Right.
Roman is a grappler.
Mm-hmm.
Roman is grappling a lot of transitions with Trevin Giles.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Bird is not going to favor that in her flair of judging. Mm-hmm. So why am I adamant Roman gets out of these leg lock positions and strikes more damage, or more ground and pound, or do more with what he needs to do to win this fight, because I understand what one of the judges is going to be looking at.
Right.
So that's kind of through my process when I see a certain judge and I know, okay, Mike Bell's going to look for damage. Sal D'Amato's looking for this or that, right? So go ahead.
I was going to say, you have a story about Adelaide Bird, right?
Yeah.
She came to the gym at one point or something like that. Can you
Sure.
explain?
Man, so in some of those rants I get on with Twitter, or I'll say like, I've always opened my doors.
Yeah.
I've always opened my doors for refs and judges to get more reps.
Yeah.
What do we do every day in training, bro?
Repetition.
Rep. To do what? To get better.
Yep.
To try to perfect our craft.
Mm-hmm.
When do judges judge fights?
Only when there's fight nights.
Ah, weird.
There are no.
The one job you don't have to get reps.
Yeah.
Their reps are live.
Yep.
Their reps are live. Do you think special forces guys are just going out when it only matters when it's life or death?
Yeah.
Or do you think they're training constantly to get better? So I've always put it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, please come by the gym. Come watch sparring. Even if you don't want to speak to anybody, but you just want to watch more sparring rounds to hone your craft.
Right.
Mark Smith, Adelaide Bird. The only two to take me up on that offer.
Really?
Yep.
And Mark Smith refs. He doesn't judge.
Comes in and refs.
Yeah. I've actually seen him in there. I've never seen Adelaide in there, but I've seen Mark Smith.
And very professional about it, right?
Super professional.
Doesn't want to talk to anybody.
To the point where...
No cameras.
No. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But to the point where I've seen athletes be like, bro, we're sparring.
We're
like,
just
it's
sparring.
not. But he takes it so serious. And he's also like, isn't he like a pilot also?
Yeah,
so he's wired like just completely differently.
Serious.
But I've seen that with
But
with
he
him.
takes his job.
Yes.
And everything that Mark Smith does, he takes it very seriously.
100%.
How can you fault that?
Yeah.
So Miss Bird is there. Mallory, Miss Bird's daughter, she's an athletic commissioner. She takes her job very seriously. Every time I see Mallory, she's always asking about when can they come back or when. My door is always open.
That's awesome.
And it was so cool to see her sit and watch sparring and then ask questions.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about this position here? What do you think about this and this and that? You cannot fault anybody trying to learn or grow or be better in their craft.
100%.
And that's what I appreciate about. So when you talk about judging, how does it get better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's first and foremost. Is try to get reps. How do you get better? Maybe show up at the days when it's not actually live.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to sparring. I think more clarity.
Yeah.
I think putting these judges in a position to where they have to answer some questions under some scrutiny.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be like why did you score this? Help me understand, and then maybe I can understand your vantage point.
Right.
I've had these conversations with Sal D'Amato. I've had these conversations with Mike Bell. Mm-hmm. And it's never been like, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
And when I hear what they have to say, what happens? I usually, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I'm a dick. Now I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But you're all human, and we're all just trying to grow from those experiences. And that to me, I mean, honestly, is like why Sal and I get along now.
Yeah.
He's like, we're all human. I think Sal's a good person.
Yeah.
Maybe you made a bad call, or maybe, hey, bro, the pole was blocking me. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a human error.
Yeah. I want to ask how you approach that problem with your athletes. Because in the fights, we've all heard you on, during a fight, on screen, in the corner, hey, optics.
Yeah.
How do you coach that in the gym so that your fighter's not hearing that for the very first time in that moment? Because if that's the first time they're ever hearing it, chances are they're probably not going to understand what you're saying.
Right.
How do you coach that in the gym? Is that something you guys talk about in the gym? Is it
break it down?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely break it down. And what do you mean by optics, right? And like, I got that from James Krause. Krause and I spent a lot of time on the road together. I think he's, it's unfortunate that he's not in the coaching space anymore.
Yeah.
But I think he's was one of the most gifted MMA coaches I've ever been around.
Yeah.
But he's also made tactical errors in the corner and sometimes in his cornering, but he's also made just amazing calls in the corner too.
Right.
We've all been there.
Right.
But it was during COVID where him and I got to spend a lot of time together, and we talked about the details, the finer details in the coaching, in what you say in the corner and how it's important to politic to judges.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had the COVID era, remember, no fans. It's quiet. But if I'm panicking in the corner as a coach and I'm
Mhm.
saying certain things that are like indicators, who's going to hear it? The judges.
Right.
The judges are going to hear it. Not only the judges are going to hear it, but the opposite corner is going to hear it, and then the
Mhm.
opponent's going to hear it. So this kind of turned into like an act
Yeah.
where like you have to be on point with it. So fortunate for us that we thought about this ahead before we went to Jacksonville.
Right.
So we started to when we started to do all of our sparring, I would just turn the music off in the gym. Remember, like the gym was closed.
Yeah.
You were in there,
Yeah.
right? There was
Yeah.
no one in the room. So I'd turn the music off, and we would just spar, and we would coach.
Yeah.
And what I would do was I would tell our number 2 in the corner, you have a very important job, and your job is to only politic to these judges.
Yeah.
I want anything that comes out of your mouth is positive,
Mhm.
and we're winning this fight.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Yeah.
So there's verbal optics, and then there's visual optics,
Mhm.
which you're seeing, right? So the optics to me, and this isn't to be dismissive towards judges, but let's just say that they're kindergartners,
Mhm.
right? And you're gonna have kids soon.
Mhm.
Your kid brings home that art, right? That
Mhm.
piece of art, and it's just full of what?
It's probably just shit.
But it's glitter and it's glue and it's
Yeah.
feathers and it's just all
Yeah.
over the paper.
Yeah.
That to me sometimes is you're catering to the kindergartner.
Right.
They don't know what the fuck they're looking at. They want to see as much sequence and shit all over they can because it just, and those to me sometimes are just
Right.
the optics. You're catering to a kindergartner, which is sometimes the judge.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So how does it look impressive to them? How does it look cool? How can you just win over their eyes in that particular moment?
Mhm.
We also need to win over their ears when it's quiet, when it's the apex or it's COVID, right? We won a lot of split decisions during COVID, bro.
Yeah.
We won a lot of split decisions.
Yeah.
And shit, I had Chris Lee, believing that Paul Felder
I was
beat RDA.
just gonna bring that up.
Paul Felder didn't beat RDA.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where did Chris Lee sit? You sat right next to me.
Yeah.
Duke Rufus is Paul's head coach.
Right.
Duke Rufus coached Paul. I coached Chris Lee.
Yes.
We
So
were able to
crazy.
make him feel like and believe like through optics and verbal optics
Yeah.
that we won that fight.
Yeah. What is maybe, I mean, there's no solution right now, but what do you think are some steps that we could take to mitigate some of the bad scoring? Because, NBA, NFL, there's human error as well. They don't change the outcomes of things, but at least you get an apology. Like, oh, hey, the refs fucked up at the end of this game, or, whatever. At least there's some apology or accountability. We have none of that. So what do you think?
You watch the Olympics?
Yeah.
Do you see how gymnastics are scored?
Yeah.
How are they scored?
Like publicly, you mean? Like where you can see your score?
But they take however many judges.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look it up if you need. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for example, I might be wrong. Let's say there's 9 judges. And the 2 most descending scores are just thrown out. Completely thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what were you even watching? And
Yeah.
that goes away. So let's say on a night there's 12 fights. And let's say we have 8 judges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm sorry, 8 judges, you're going to work 10 fights.
Yeah.
Or however many, right? And you can interchange them, and maybe what you do is you do 5 judges. Those 5 judges will all judge the fights, and the 2 that are just descending, throw them out. Right? They're just so off or wild or whatever that you can just throw those two out, and then you go with the ones that are actually make sense.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Right? I mean,
so you have 5 judging five a time judging each fight, but like 8 total, and then you just rotate them.
Yeah,
around fights.
So let's use this as an example. Let's say the Sean Strickland fight, okay? And you have 4 judges that gave it 50-45 Sean Strickland. And then you have somebody named Dave Torelli that goes, hey, 49-48 to Paul Lecott, whatever it was.
Even worse.
Can't do math.
Yeah.
And everybody just goes, yeah, dude, your one just gets thrown out. That doesn't even make sense. And you want to, and legit, you want to be the guy not getting his his scorecard thrown out because that shows you're incompetent.
That's actually a great idea.
Thank you.
I really do believe that.
Thank you.